Hello everyone, this is Mr. Wolf, and we are continuing to read Fred Korematsu Speaks Up. This is written by Laura Atkins and Stan Yogi, illustrated by Yutaka Houlette, and published by Hayday Books. In the description below, you can find a link to where you can purchase your own copy of Fred Korematsu Speaks Up. We are on to Chapter 9, Getting the Letter. All the time Fred wonders about his case, which moves from one court to the next. February 1943. Fred writes to Ernest, "I am very anxious to hear the outcome of our case." Ernest replies that it could take a long time for the case to reach the United States Supreme Court. Fred waits. March 1944. The Supreme Court agrees to hear Fred's case. The lawyers will present their arguments in October. "Nice going," Fred writes to Ernest. Fred waits. October 1944. Fred moves to Detroit, where he finds work making doors for Navy ships and lives in a room at the YMCA. December 1944. Fred finally receives the letter from Ernest, the one he has been waiting for. He tears it open and reads Ernest's words. They lost. 6 of 9 judges ruled that it was legal to remove Japanese Americans from their homes because of military necessity. Fred can't believe it. How could the court decide that the government was right to tear these people away from their lives for looking like the enemy, not for doing anything wrong? 2 long years fighting this fight for the country he loves, for his own country. And Fred has lost. Am I an American or not? He wonders. He has lost Ida, his friends, his home. Fred now feels as if he has lost his country. And we have a picture. Fred's letter to Ernest after hearing about the Supreme Court's decision. Wayne Collins, mentioned in the letter, was a lawyer who helped fight Fred's case. Behind the court's decision. When the United States Supreme Court agreed to hear Fred's appeal, Fred's lawyers were determined to convince the 9 judges that imprisoning Japanese Americans violated their constitutional rights. At the same time, government lawyers set out to show the judges that there were good reasons to force Japanese Americans from their homes. In making their decision, the judges on the Supreme Court looked at a report by Lieutenant General John L. DeWitt, the military commander in charge of the West Coast. The report said there was a risk that Japanese Americans were sending signals to Japanese Empire ships and submarines in the Pacific Ocean. DeWitt said that there wasn't enough time to figure out if individual Japanese Americans were loyal to the United States. Most of the judges on the Supreme Court agreed with the government that it was a military necessity to force Japanese Americans to leave their homes. Not all of the Supreme Court judges thought the government was right to imprison Fred and the other Japanese Americans. 3 of the 9 judges agreed with Fred. They believed that the government's actions were racist and violated Japanese Americans' rights. But because the Supreme Court rules by majority, which means that more than half of the judges need to agree on a decision, Fred lost his case. Fred was devastated by the decision. The court had ruled that the government could force a group of people from their homes because of their race and ancestry, as long as there was military necessity. The government could use the same excuse to violate people's rights in the future. And we have a picture. The 9 judges on the United States Supreme Court who decided Fred's case. And then up on the second page, newspapers across the country carried the news that the United States Supreme Court had ruled against Fred and decided that the government could force thousands of people from their homes if they looked like the enemy. When the Supreme Court makes a ruling, the judges write out the reasons why they reached their decision. This is from the Supreme Court's official ruling in Fred's case. And we have a question for you to answer in the comments. Have you ever worked hard for something only to be disappointed in the end? We have our timeline, and this takes place entirely in 1944. March 27th. Supreme Court agrees to hear Fred's case. October, Fred moves to Detroit. December 18th, Supreme Court rules against Fred. That is the end of Chapter 9. This chapter hopefully was a big point of why you should be purchasing your own copy of this book. If you want to be able to have a better view of these newspaper clippings, of the letter sent by Fred, it is going to be really important for you to go to the description, go to the link in the description, and purchase your own copy of Fred Korematsu Speaks Up. But for now, thank you so much for reading along with me, and have a wonderful day.